What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, man? My man Chris, what's going on, man? Good to see you, man. Good to see you always. Good to see you always, man. Good to see you. How you doing, man? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Man, we got a lot to discuss today. We got a lot to discuss today. We got a lot to discuss today, everybody, man. I'm looking forward to hearing all y'all thoughts on this stuff. We got a lot to discuss. Lights out. What's up, baby? What's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. TJ, what's going on, man? We gotta have TJ coming in and drop some stuff coming pretty soon. We're gonna discuss that a little bit later, man. But what's going on with y'all, man? What's going on with y'all? Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Everybody's solid. Man, I just came back from this little meeting, man. So my voice is all over the place. Let me grab this water real quick. Man, let's wait another minute and a half before we talk about the rundown that we have going on today, man. We got a lot to discuss, man. There's a lot of things that's been happening. Obviously, we got to recap the fights and all that good stuff. But man, we got some stuff to talk about. Y'all believe in that Shakur Stevenson news? We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that, man. We got some stuff that we got to discuss. So you know what? Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Brother Francisco, what's going on, man? What's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Let's get into what we're going to touch on today. So, got about 7 things before we close out with the quarter of the week, how we finish up. We're going to talk Munguia versus John Ryder. We're going to touch on that. Siobhan Clark, another dominant performance for him. Gabriela Fondora, a little bit of controversy, as many people might think, against Christina Cruz. We're going to talk about that. Oscar Collazo, I mean, dude was vicious. Dude was dangerous, man. Special fighter, man. Canelo Alvarez news. We're going to talk about that. Any changes with the fights this week? Obviously, you know, Dan Aziz and Joshua Buatsi is happening as well, too. And Conor Benn, we're going to talk about that. Also going to touch on Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. One time is back in the ring. We'll talk about that. Then we're going to talk about the Shakur Stevenson news and what we really think about that. We'll save those thoughts for later. And what we talked about last week, many of you talked about the top 10 pound for pound. Give you my list of the current ones that I have right now. Some interchangeable things, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on yours as well, too. Cool down segment, quarter of the week, and we're going to close out, and we're going to get out of here, man. So that's what we got, man. Chris, I know you do, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got to say, man. So, all right. You know what? Let's start here. What do we think about it? What do we think about the fight? Man, you know, for me, I thought Ryder was going to be able to hang on there, right? And I was giving him the benefit of the doubt based on the history in his fights. You know, if he would have survived this fight and made it to 12, I would have given him the nickname Survivor, because the man knows how to survive a fight. But in this fight, it wasn't the surprise of Munguia winning the fight. I think many of us expected him to win that fight, but it is how he won that fight. Man, I saw a bunch of different things in Munguia this time around. You know, the volume is crazy. You know, that's a man that's not afraid to let his hands go. That's one thing about him, is the volume. But we saw a little bit of him boxing a little bit, right? Not rushing his attack, a little patience behind it. Him starting to move a little bit. I said, wait a minute, Munguia, when you start doing all of that, you know what I'm saying? So it was how he beat Ryder. Man, it was beautiful, because you could see he could have done whatever he wanted to do, but he wasn't in a rush to do it. That was my sense that I got from him. He wasn't in a rush to do it. Once he turned up the pace and really started letting his hands go and picked up the pressure, John Ryder couldn't do anything, right? But it is how he did it, how patient he was, the strategy and the tactics that we are seeing him be able to fully put into the mix now, right? Because Munguia is pretty straightforward to me. I don't look at him as this elite boxer mental guy who can strategically get it done like that. But I'm starting to see him think a little bit more now. Starting to see a little bit maturity in his game plan, adding shells to his skill set. I got to be honest, man, I liked it. Again, it wasn't the fact of, John Ryder being this person who is this magnanimous fighter. He's lost before, but man, it's how he performed and how he dismantled John Ryder. But I also got to give credit to John Ryder, man, because he could have easily stood down, easily took the 10 count, and easily just said, you know what, man, look, I'm tired of this beat down. I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm out of here. I got the money. I'm out of here. But he got back up, man. And I got a lot of respect for John Ryder because he didn't take the easy way out. Now, the ref should have turned his back so we could see the man throwing the towel, because he took some like 7 shots he didn't need to towards the end of that fight. But shout out to John Ryder. I didn't see the post-fight interview of anything that he said, so I know they were saying he was going to retire after that, and maybe you guys can let me know. But if he does retire, man, hats off to you, man. You stood tall against Canelo. I thought you beat Callum Smith, personally, in my opinion. And I thought you put on a good showing as best as you can against Munguia, man. These younger cats are crazy, man. These guys' volume is really good, man. So that's my thoughts on it, man. I was really impressed in what I was seeing in the progression of Munguia, and what he does inside of the ring and his spirit and the will of a fighter, man. That guy can fight, man. He may have a lot of defensive mistakes, but man, that man got a warrior spirit. How he beat John Ryder was very, very, very good, man. Again, he did what Canelo couldn't, right? So we always got to keep that into mind. Oh man, Lights Out says Freddie Roach had Jaime on top of his game. Never seen him look so good. Completely agree, man. He really did his thing. Munguia KO 200. Yeah, man. Hey, the payday was nice. The payday was nice, man. Is that what's that, San Fran? Was that San Fran, Peter? Hey, the squad's in the Super Bowl, man. Hey, it's a good time to be in San Fran. Man, Chris says impressive performance of Munguia. Shocked how he won, to be honest. Made me eat my words. Ryder is one tough fighter. Has got his paycheck, now retired, spend time with his family you had. Yeah, man, I agree, man. We can't be John Ryder. You don't need to take no more punches, bro. Like, you've taken enough. We know you're tough, man. We know what you can do, man. So I'm glad that he got those opportunities. But again, very impressed with the way Munguia performed, man. I think he's, man, you could say a lot of things about him, man. I think he's dangerous, man. I think he's got a much higher ceiling. But from what I saw, looking good, man, looking good. I thought Ryder would manhandle Munguia in the clinch, but Munguia was surprisingly strong. You know what's interesting as well, too, man? I was talking to TJ about this. He brought this up. TJ's in the chat if he's still here. He brought it up. He said, man, Munguia looks good, right? He looks shredded. He looks ripped. And when we were watching the weigh-in, we saw what Ryder looked like when he fought Canelo, like shredded, solid. Didn't really look the same to me when they were in the face-off, staying in front of each other. Preparation. Maybe he didn't want to. I don't want to speculate, right? But you gotta come in tip-top shape when you're fighting Canelo. But he did not look in that same tip-top physical shape when he was fighting Munguia, and Munguia did. So who's to say, man? Who's to say that if that had anything to do with it? But yeah, man, that man's strong. He's strong. What's good, Steph? Man, I've gotten Steph like twice. It's probably because the light skin, colored eyes, man. It's, I don't hoop like that though, but I appreciate it. Took 43rd fight from Munguia. That was the thing about him, man. And resumes are tricky, bro. Sometimes because we sometimes cats don't. It's not that we don't know who they. Sometimes you look at the resume and you're like, yo, this guy, they haven't really fought anybody and this and that. But I've kind of always said it like this. You can only knock down who's in front of you. And, until you get in a position where you can fight these top guys. And, Ryder was ranked. I don't know if he was going into it, but before, so I wasn't really too impressed with him in his past couple of fights, but his last 3 fights, man, I thought he's been looked pretty solid, man. So I hear you 1,000%, man. 168 is some heat. 140 is some heat. 147 is a little up and down. 150, 154 got some heat in there as well, too. Jay, man, what's going on, man? Man, hold that thought, bro. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about that. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about that. Man, TJ, 168 is popping right now. Munguia, Canelo, Pacheco, Mbili, Morel, Benavidez. Man, I would love to see Munguia and Mobili, man. That would be a fight. Woo! Yo, knockout. None of those cats are making that full round. Somebody getting dropped between those two. That's a good fight, man. Berlanga. Man, I think Munguia beats Berlanga, bro. I think Munguia breaks him down, bro. But that's a good fight. We'll see how Berlanga looks when he fights later in a couple weeks, man. We'll see. But 168 is fire right now, bro. Fire right now. That's a very good point. Brother Francisco says Munguia Canelo will be better than Canelo versus the other Charlo, but of course Canelo should fight Benavidez. Man. We all want the same thing, man, and I agree with all that you say, bro. I don't know, man. But I give Canelo his respect because of what he's been able to do, man. I think Canelo is a big draw wherever he goes. He knows who we want to see. The man can speak proper English now. Like he can't evade the names that we've been saying. I know he's been seeing it, but strategy. Maybe he's looking for Benavidez to have an off night or age a little bit more, and then he's like, now is the perfect time. But I tell you, man, if Benavidez getting better each time around, man, you can't wait too long because you'll find yourself in trouble. Featherweight, super featherweight got heat too. Absolutely. Some serious, man. It's a really good time in boxing right now, bro. It's a really good time in boxing. Berlanga or Mbili makes sense next for Munguia before stepping up to the big two. Yeah. I don't want to see Canelo and Munguia right now. I don't right now. He doesn't win that fight. I think Canelo beats him, but love that Mbili fight. Great fight. Heavy action, a lot of punches, a lot of volume. That's a great fight. We'll see what happens next, man. Canelo not fighting other Mexican fighters, so man, like I hear him say that a couple times, but if the pay is right, I mean, he doesn't need any more money. He's made a lot, but man, at some point, man, you got to give the people what you want, bro. Otherwise, the people gonna go against you in some capacity, man. So we'll see. Exactly my point. Money definitely talks. But man, before we move on from Munguia, any last thoughts? Put it in the comments. Again, I was really impressed with how he dismantled John Ryder. John Ryder been in some tough fights, man. He don't need to fight anymore, man. Just relax. You know what I'm saying? Go chill with the family, drink some tea, right? Some cheesecake, some muffins, pop in some movies, pop in Rocky. Just enjoy it, man. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Relax a little bit because he's not beating the top guys in the division right now, man. Not at all. Canelo is basically that little dwarf who's greedy for money. What's the greedy for money? What's that Irish leprechaun, the pot of gold, right? The pot of gold. They're always looking for money. But let's move forward, man. We got a lot to touch on today, man. Siobhan Clark, Tommy McCarthy. What do we think about this fight? I had Siobhan Clark by stoppage. Man, Clark is a big dude, man. Y'all notice that? Like that man he be taking a lot of space. That's a big man. I would be very interested to see what he rehydrates to. He could easily seem like he could be a heavyweight to me. That's a big man. But man, took him a little bit to get going. I actually thought McCarthy was boxing pretty well for a little bit there. But man, did you hear some of those body shots that Clark was giving him? Yo, it was heavy. It was hard. And I was just like, yo, ref, are you just going to let this man take these punches to the kidneys like this? Yo, ref, stop the fight. I was very, very impressed with him. You know what it reminded me of? You remember, what's it called? when you are you have your chicken and you have that metal thing and you're pounding the chicken and it makes the chicken the tenderizer. Is that what it is? That's what it's called. It looked like that. Yo, it looked like that. I was like, yo, there's no way McCarthy's gonna be able to handle much more of this. And you know what's crazy is you're watching Clark, and on the clinches he began to hit, and then he'd be pushing off, and you see this big grin on his face. I'm like, yo, this man's crazy. Yo, this man's literally crazy. Like, what are you smiling about? It's a fight. You know what I'm saying? But he's just got, I was very impressed with him, man. And he's not a guy that plays with his opposition either. If he has an opportunity to close out the show, that's what he's going to do. But that shots, that power, yo, I like him. And it was tough to watch too, because, you know, me being born in Jamaica, both of these guys got Jamaican heritage. You know, I don't want to see my brothers beat up on each other. Didn't know who to cheer for. You know what I'm saying? But man, I really like Siobhan Clark, man. I hope he continues to step up in competition because, man, he looks very good. Very good. Oh, man, TJ says Siobhan looked legit, came in great shape. 100%, bro. 100%. Career best performance from Clark. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yes, tenderize. That's the word that I was using. Tenderize. That's what I was looking for. Tenderize McCarthy with those body shots, man. Punishing, vicious, all of the above. Like, man, sometimes, bro, like I love knockouts like anybody else, man. But sometimes it's the body shots that just like, yo, come on, ref. Come on. Don't let this man take any more punishment, man. Very, 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 very tough fighter. Skilled brawler, 100%. And those uppercuts that he was hitting too, beast. Beast. If I'm Clark, I'm targeting winner of Kovalev. Man, yeah. Bone Crusher still fighting, bro. That's a little bit interesting to me, man. Very interesting to me. But that would be a great name on his resume. You know, I don't know if Kovalev is still Bone Crusher Kovalev, obviously, but that would be a great win on his resume, man. That would be a great win. But again, I was very impressed with Clark, man. I think he's very talented, a lot of different things that he can do moving forward. Let's move on, man. Let's keep going. Let's keep this thing going. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Gabriela Fondora versus Christina Cruz. Man, the scorecards for this one, I don't know what the heck these judges were seeing. It was way too wide for me because at the beginning, Christina Cruz was boxing beautifully, keeping the distance, slipping in shots, using the jab, moving. Fondora is a pressuring fighter, man, with her length, her height, that reach. She's got good pop. In the little YouTube short video that I did of her, I said, man, she is vicious. Like, I think she might be more of I think she's the aggressive sibling. I think she's more aggressive than her brother. You know what I'm saying? So at the beginning for me, man, I was just like, yo, Cruz is up 4-0 early in the fight. But then the momentum started to change, and you could see Fondora was really starting to land those shots, and it was starting to slow Christina Cruz down. And eventually, man, the momentum that Christina Cruz has, it was swaying. So the last couple of rounds were going to be very interesting. And I thought the 8th round, the 9th round were both kind of close, but Fondora was starting to gain the momentum. And I was just like, man, if Fondora wins this round, this could possibly be a draw in that 10th. Now, the stoppage of that, what do they say in boxing, right? Never turn your back. And once you turn your back, you become defenseless. So I'm not mad at the stoppage, but I was just like, yo, Christina, like, why didn't you just, move out the way? You were probably tired, absolutely. But you could have stepped back or you could have tied up a little bit, but she just turned and left herself defenseless. And, it was I'm not mad at what I saw. I'm not mad at the judges, but I'm like, man, you took yourself out of the fight when you had an opportunity to possibly even get a draw, then come to find out that the scorecards weren't even close. So she wasn't really in the fight like that as much as it looked like on tape. But here's what it is, man. But Fondora, man, she really knows how to turn it up. And I thought she fought very smartly, strategically in the second half of the fight. And it's really started to put that pressure on, man. She can punch, man. She can punch, man. I actually really like watching her. The aggression, I really like that. Really like that, man. So good performance. Looking forward to see who she's going to fight next. Shout out to Christina Cruz, 41 years old, but came in there looking quick, looking fast, did her thing. and she didn't really have the power to really back off Fundora as well too, so hopefully that she doesn't get thrown away because she's a little bit older. Hopefully we're able to see her back in the ring again, man. So yeah. J-Man says, commentator saying it was a bad stoppage, she had her back turned. Yeah, I mean, maybe because it was so close to being finished, maybe that's what they were saying, but rules are rules, right? And it's like, man, if you turn your back, it's over. Like, what can you do about that? It's not a bad stoppage. It was, to me, it was the right call. The rules are the rules. The rules are the rules. It's hard to argue that, So, yeah, man. All right, let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. Real quick, we'll touch on this. Oscar Clauso, was not expecting too much in this one. Did a quick YouTube short of this one. I expected Clauso to close out the show pretty early. He's just a beast, man. I mean, that man can do a bit of everything, man. He's definitely one of the champions of that division that could be undisputed in that division. Like, I think he's that good, right? So 2 rounds, easy night for him. Easy money. Didn't really tax himself too much. So hopefully we see him again sooner than later. But he's the real deal, man. He's the real deal. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Canelo Alvarez. I saw this come out. Canelo, Charlo, and Terrence Bud Crawford this year. Could that actually happen? Do we? I'm pretty sure Canelo is going to fight Charlo, right? And I don't think he's going to have too much problems there. But what do we think about, quickly, what do we think about Crawford? Do we think that fight's going to happen? Do you want to see that fight? Because I don't know if I want to see that fight, man. I think the one fight we want to see, and I want to see Canelo defend his belts in this division. We haven't really seen him defend his belt in this division. Guys have just been coming up to fight him, taking the payday, and been kind of laying down, so to speak, right? So not sure if that's actually going to go through. It's going to be interesting, but what do you guys think about this one? Does this move the needle for you guys in any way? Munguia versus Durrell is a fight to watch. Talking about Anthony Durrell, oh man, Munguia gonna roll him out as well too. Breezy B, what's going on, man? I hope he does not fight Crawford, man. He knows we want to see fight Benavidez at least. Yep, 100%, man. And man, it's just interesting how like nobody's making the man defend his belt in his weight division, right? Like, it's just interesting to me, man. I don't want to see that fight, man. I'd rather see well, I was gonna say Bud and Tim Tszyu, but Tim Tszyu is fighting one time, which we're gonna talk about very shortly here. Charlo is a hospice. Jamal Charlo is a hospital bed model, man. Come on, man. Come on, brother Chris. Come on, brother Chris, man. Hey, man, let Charlo live. Let Charlo live, man. Let Charlo live. So, do I want to see Canelo fight Munguia or Benavidez? Man, we are all in the same boat, bro. We're all in the same boat. I don't want to see that fight, man. But again, as we said earlier, money talks. If the fight's big enough, Bud always wants a challenge. He always wants to be there. We know how skilled he is, but man, we give us the fight that we want to see, that we've been talking about, that everybody's been talking about. Then after that, you can fight whoever you want to fight, man. Canelo versus Crawford is all fantasy, not Schlager. Money, I give Crawford a chance, but he's stepping up too many weight divisions. Plus, ain't gonna be prime Canelo. So be intriguing, but not for me. I agree. Canelo needs to stop ducking Benavidez. He knows Benavidez can beat him. That's why, especially right now. And I think Benavidez is going to get better and better. And it's going to be a lot more dangerous. But also Morella's there too, and he's going to get better and better, man. So, yeah, man. We'll see. Crawford does you mention Spence. Man, I've been hearing so many back and forth stuff about this. Like he doesn't want to fight Spence anymore. Whatever the case may be, man. I don't know. I'm expecting the clause as well too, but who knows when we will see even Spence training again like that. You know, we had the eye surgery, so I don't know, man. And if that fight happens, you know, I'd love to see that 154. I mean, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Again, last few thoughts. Like, yeah, I don't really want to see him fight Bud, but you know, if it happens, I'm going to get excited for it. But personally, we all want to see him fight Benavidez next. That's it. Fight Charlo, do your thing, use it as a tune-up or whatever the case may be. But at some point, man, like you got to give the people what we want to see. We want to see you and Benavidez. That's what we want to see. Will we see it? I don't know, man. Boxing is strange sometimes. All right, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's touch on this right here. Any changes with the fights this week? I did the Conor Benn breakdown this week. Today, Conor Benn, Peter Dobson. We'll talk about that real quick. This fight was supposed to happen a couple months back, and what happened? Who had it? Somebody had a back injury. Was that what it was? Was it Aziz or was it? I think it was Aziz that had a little back injury, right? And so now this fight's happening this weekend. My thoughts are still the same. I like Joshua Buatsi in this one. I think it goes the distance, possible stoppage, depending on, you know, it makes me think, like if Dan Aziz was having a back injury, you know, how much is that going to play a part? And sports is interesting sometimes, man. I think sometimes when things get rescheduled, you're not really as prepared or as excited for it as when you once were. So you wonder, is that going to play an effect on Buatsi? Has he been mentally locked in? Like we saw what happened with George Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez, you know, how much of the delay kind of messed things up a little bit and amongst some other things. So wondering how that's all going to go into the mix, but I still like Buatsi to get it done on the night, but gonna be interesting. Any buzz for this one? How do we feel about this one? We feeling good about it, or it's just like, you know, whatever, we just keep it pushing? Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Breezy B, Canelo is lessening his chances of winning the longer he waits to fight these upcoming super middleweights. Man, these guys are just getting better. And we know boxing is a young man's sport. And even the ones who are aging and still at that high level, man, you can't escape Father Time for too long. You know, you got a man, Breezy B, on his screen right now who's a vicious cat. You know what I'm saying? He was a vicious cat. So there are exceptions to the rule for certain periods of time. You know, Better Biev is one of them. He's 39, but he's got those, you know, he's here right now. But Father Time is undefeated, man. So I think the longer it takes Canelo, the more these guys are getting better, man. So Canelo could take on David Morrell. Thoughts? Man, that's a dangerous fight for Canelo, man. That's a high risk, kind of low reward, because Morrell has all of the makings to be a future champion, man. And he's so skilled and he gets better each and every single fight. So, but he's not as known as some of these other cats, right? So for Canelo, if Canelo beats him, they're going to say, oh, you know, it wasn't David Benavidez. It wasn't someone who was very well known, right? But if Morrell beats him, you know, is Canelo on the decline? Was Canelo even that good? Is Morrell that good? So it's a lot. Canelo has way more to lose than Morrell, even though I think Morrell gives Canelo a lot of problems. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I've always said Aziz since his first made, has all the momentum. Buatsi made huge mistake not having a fight while Aziz recovered. Yeah, I agree in that one as well too. Buatsi under most pressure, been underwhelming recently. Man, I thought one of his best fights was when he fought Spider, man. I thought that was a very good performance from him. Aziz on point said it once. It was made first time. I'll make a prediction. I stick to it. I wear trainers, not flip-flops. Hey, that's a cold bar right there, brother Chris. That's a cold bar, man. I like that. I like that. I haven't heard much of this fight, to be honest. Yeah, it's not a lot of buzz happening about it, man, especially when it was rescheduled. So, but it's happening this weekend. Brother Francisco says, a few years ago, I would have picked Canelo, but now Benavidez has a good shot of beating him. Absolutely. And you know, Benavidez, man, he's put together a nice little resume, especially in his last 3 fights for him, man. I mean, you know, Caleb Plant was a big win, man. Caleb Plant was a big win, right? And what he did to Andre, even though Andre came up, it's how he beat Andre. So I thought with you on that one. I only want Canelo to face Benavidez, then retire regardless of outcome. Man, I think Canelo probably has maybe 3 or 4 fights left, and then I think he's out of here. I think he's out of here after that. Shakur retires. Man, Matthias, we're gonna hold that thought, man. Hold that thought. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, man. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. So this was a fight that I did not see coming. Tim Tszyu versus Keith One-Time Thurman. What do we think about this one? Just want to get your thoughts on it. What do we think about it? What do we like it? Do we not like it? Are we gonna watch it because it's on pay-per-view? Are we gonna pay for it? Like what do we think? How are we feeling? How are we feeling about this one? Breezy B, I'm curious what you thought of the Felix Croker fight. I just watched the highlights and the size difference was crazy. Yeah, man. That was a good fight, man. Aggressive. And Croker, the way how he stopped Felix, man. I haven't really seen him fight live too many times, but man, I was very impressed with it, man. He came in overweight a little bit, so you always wonder how that's gonna play a toll, but it definitely did make a difference, in my opinion, man. Definitely did make a difference, man. And Felix was upset a cat in his last fight. You know what I'm saying? So he was coming in with that upset potential. So he got it done, man. But the size difference was different, man. To me, as someone who, man, in track and field, like you're walking around weight as boxers do, but then you have your race weight. And if you don't come in that race weight, it throws off everything. So discipline is something that I worry about him moving forward. Well, not worry, but to keep in mind, right? Because I'm like, you can't, make the weight, man. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he should move up the case. But yeah, interesting. Let's see. Lights out. If Benavidez comes in brawling, Canelo outboxes him and wins on points. Man, Canelo is subtle with the shots, man, because on the scorecards when he fought, what's his name? Billy Joe Saunders, wasn't he losing a little bit of that? And then he caught Billy Joe with that uppercut. You see that when that happened, someone sent me this meme of the Simpsons when Marge Simpson had this meme when she was going up like that. Yo, that was hilarious, man. Shout out to Billy Joe Saunders, man. Get back into the ring, man. Let's get you back into the ring. Shouldn't be pay-per-view. Yeah, I agree. But Keith One-Time Thurman, pay-per-view fighter. That's what he says, man. He's Showtime. So interesting. And it's like Tim Tszyu is a. I think he's still a guy whose name is still kind of being built a little bit more. Like everybody knows him in Australia, but I think in this part of the world, man, it's still not fully there yet to me, but I don't remember all of the fights on that card. I think the full package of it, maybe you don't think Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman should be pay-per-view, but man, Isaac Cruz, and a couple others. Like, that's a good fight. Isaac Cruz and Rolly could be a main event in different places to different people. So I think it'll be worth it because of everybody else that is on that card. That's a good fight. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I like One Time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying One Time is gonna win that yet, but he can. I like One Time. I like the way how he can sell a fight. I like One Time. I'd like One Time back into the ring, a little bit too inactive for me, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Not Keith Thurman versus Clarissa Shields. Oh man. I was having this debate with somebody like a couple months back when I heard that come out. Man, big. I like Clarissa Shields big time. But come on, man. Don't play with One Time like that. Don't play with One Time like that. Felix should never taken the fight ever. Yeah, but they probably slid him a couple extra dollars. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of probably just took it, put that in the pocket, and said, "You know what? It is what it is. It is what it is." I don't like that it's a pay-per-view, but Tim is always entertaining. So hopefully Thurman brings it. Man, Thurman, You know, one thing about One Time, man, is once he takes a fight seriously, he's gonna get things going, gonna get things rolling. You just don't know what version he's gonna come with. How is the inactivity gonna be? You know, and Tim Tszyu, he gonna come. Tim Tszyu on fire right now. He's probably one of the hottest fighters in the sport right now. Vicious, vicious. I actually like the fight, man. The more that I think about it, I like the fight. Yeah, he is. He's fighting. It's slipping me. Bernicek, is it? I could be wrong. Baranacek, I could be wrong. I know it starts with a B, something like that. Yeah, it is, man. It is style, bro. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. Rolly back in the ring. Rolly back in the ring. Shout out to Rolly. Supposed to fight Ryan Garcia, or Ryan Garcia was supposed to fight. Okay, you know, Ryan Garcia. You ever want to come on the live, man, and clear some of that up, man? You more than welcome. You more than welcome. You more than welcome. There's been way worse pay-per-views. 1,000%. You right about that, TJ. You right about that, my brother. You're right about that. Oh, man, Pablo B, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Chile in the house. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. Always love, man. I know it's late over there. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Man, Chris, I like the card. I think it's a good card, bro. I think it's a good card. I like it as well, too, man. Should they have had the fight in Australia, maybe that would sell much better. Yeah. But, you know, Thurman One Time kind of seems like he's tough to navigate with, you know, at times. And he's probably not going to make certain compromises, you know. So is what it is. It's not a review card, but it's stat card. I agree. Shields got a big mouth. She's like a purse. Need to zip it closed. Hey, man. Her documentary that I watched, man, she went through a lot. So, you know, she gotta sell herself. She gotta sell herself. Thurman too inactive for me. Yeah. That's the thing with One Time, is we rarely see him. We rarely see the man. Thurman been out for 2 years now. He's pay-per-view main event. Fundora got knocked out, and now he's in a title fight. Rolly and Pitbull are the highlight of the night. I just hope Pitbull don't get robbed. Yeah, fair enough. Pitbull and Rolly. Man, Rolly been getting himself. He's been getting himself into some pretty good paydays, you know. So shout out to Rolly for being able to sell that fight, man. I see you out there, Rolly, man. But gonna be a good fight. And I heard something about Tank Davis maybe fighting in the UK. Has he ever? I don't think he's ever fought over there before, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if that does come. And then I saw something about Devin Haney said April 20th, you know, so we'll see. Any thought on Velasquez? I'm getting into Cuban fighters and he looks solid. Man, I have to go and check him out, my brother, man. I don't know too much about him. I don't want to give you no BS answer and make something up that I haven't seen. So I'm going to go and check him out, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to get back to you on that one. I love some Cuban fighters, man. 2 years of inactivity. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while for One Time. It's been a while. Ryan Garcia is hey, but the hand speed, crazy when he be on the punching bag, though. I got to give him that. The hand speed is crazy. I got to give him that. Pitbull, Rolly, both coming off pretty bad performances, so they both got something to prove. Absolutely. But, you know, the Rolly's win against Barroso has a little bit weight to it now. It doesn't look so bad. All right, let's keep it pushing. Where we at? Okay. Let's talk about it, because I have a little bit of thoughts on this one. Obviously, we've been hearing different things in the news about Shakur and Navarrete might be a matchup, right? So now this fight happens, or ordered, and now Navarrete and Baranachuk is about to fight. And then we see very shortly after, I didn't see it till actually today, like later on today. And I don't know what time he tweeted it, sometime today. So I'm seeing it. And one, we've seen many guys that have retired before, right? We've seen Tyson Fury talk about retirement a whole bunch of times, bunch of others. Sugar Ray Leonard, he retired 3 or 4 times and came back. So the Teofimo did it as well too. To me, this is more about frustration than anything to me, man. And the interesting part about in that tweet, he said, man, I'm going to stay in the gym and I'm going to be back training. I'm going to work on my craft. If you are retiring, the craft is done. If you are retiring, you're not worried about being in the gym unless it's for your own physical and mental health. But if you are staying in the gym and working on your craft, it's like, yo, at the right time, you're going to think about stepping in. So for me, I look at that. I'm like, dang, here's a talented fighter who for a split second made an emotional decision or a tweet because he was like, yo, these guys, I'm supposed to fight these guys. The business of sport is crazy sometimes and it can get the best of you, man. Like, so for me, that's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing it as him retiring from the sport, because there's been so many times where he was talking in interviews, man, I just love boxing. I'm in the gym 24/7, like I'm always in there. If you're in the gym 24/7, man, there's no way that you're just going to be able to let go of it. And me being my experience in professional sports, if you retire just like that, well, what do your whole schedule changes, because what are you working towards? What are you putting your body towards, all that work and all that frustration? Like, what are you doing all that for? So I don't think he's going to stay retired. I just think it's someone who was frustrated, who was supposed to be fighting this guy. And then when it doesn't happen, it's just like, yo, what's going on? Like, what's the point here? You know, I've faced it in track and field a bunch of times, the politics of track and field, right? So that's what I saw. What do you guys think about this one, man? What was going through your mind? What did you think? I think it was just frustration and anything, man. So that's it for me, man. You know, it's also mind games. It's also mind games a little bit as well, too. I hope he does not retire, because I don't think that he has even reached his ceiling yet. You know, and the talented fighters, you want to see them fight the best. And I believe he wants those big fights. But when you want those big fights and you're not getting those big fights, and you're hearing every single person around you is saying, yo, your performance against Edwin De Los Santos, man, it was trash. It was whack. Like, you're not all that. Like, you were running. Yo, it gets in your head, man. Like, it gets in your head. And then you have different people saying different things, and you're trying to get those big fights to redeem yourself. And it's just like, yo, it's not happening. So I think it's more frustration. Do I think he's retired? No, I do not. Maybe retired in the moment, but I don't think he's going to be retired for too long, man. And if he does, then we'll come back here and we'll talk about his career a little bit and we'll really get into it. But I don't think he's retired. That's my thoughts. Would love to hear your guys'. So interesting dynamics, man. Interesting dynamics. I think if Tank does fight in the UK, who do you think he fights next? Man, I have no idea. I don't know, I really don't know. I've been hearing his name with Frank Martin, but I'm like, why would they fight over there? And I'm saying it doesn't really make any sense. They're both American, you know. So it's like, well, who else is European that would fight over? Like, I really don't know, man. Like, I really don't know. You think Tank moves up to fight Barroso? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Nah, man, who knows? Sometimes Tank be coming out the left, man. So I don't know. I don't think so, but I can't rule nothing out. Tank fought once in UK, win, and said I'd love to see him over there more. Yeah, because you know what to expect with Tank. Tank knocking cast out. That's what he does. He knock cast out. So who doesn't want to see that? You know, J-Man, Cherry. Oh, J-Man, who you say cherry picking to? To who? To who? Who you saying it to? Tim Zoo? Keith Thurman? Who who's the cherry for? Who's the cherry for? Their screams PR BS stunt from Shakur. He needs to grow up, stop being pathetic. He ain't retired. People, he will do a Tyson Fury and be another king of contradictions. Hey, one thing I like about you, my brother Chris, man, is you always honest on here, bro. You always speak your piece. I respect it. Tyson Fury has retired more times as long as the Great Wall of China. Woo! Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, but Tyson Fury has retired quite a bit. And even back, like, again, as I said, Sugar Ray retired like 3 or 4 times as well, too. Sugar Ray, in an interview with Mike Tyson said, "Oh man, I'm the king of retirement," and said it with like this big smile on his face. So, not all these guys are really paying attention to the word retirement. If the money's right, if the fight is right, you're not going to turn that down. I got Pitbull all day over Rolly. Man, you and me both, bro. You and me both. You and me both. I hope he doesn't retire. I love seeing him trolling after the fights. Man, the social media sphere is crazy, bro. It's social media sphere. Man, social media has made so many things crazy, bro. Like, Shakur. Shakur just needs to keep fighting or perhaps take a pay cut to get the bigger fights. Yeah, but a lot of people is in his ear, man. Saying he should get this money, and this and that. I think he is arguably one of the best defensive fighters that we've seen in quite some time. And I thought offensively he was really starting to put some things together. And I always like to look at the history of a fighter and not just judge and base them off one fight, because Edwin De Los Santos, okay, it wasn't a good showing, it wasn't a good performance from him. But if we're having that same thoughts about Shakur Stevenson, then we also got to put it towards De Los Santos's way as well too, because he just stayed comfortable. He didn't really do anything on his end as well too. So hopefully this is just a little frustration. He had to tweet out. And he'll be back in the ring. If he did retire, be the biggest wasted of talent. That would be an interesting conversation, man. I've seen some talented cats that did a little bit less. But speaking of that, when you said that, man, a name that came to mind who I thought was a very talented guy, but the way how he fought, he didn't get the recognition I think that he deserves. And even Floyd said it. I can't remember his name, but they used to call him the drunken master, the drunken fighter, right? And I remember watching a Floyd interview, and Floyd said, man, this guy was one of my toughest fights because I couldn't really figure him out. Don't remember his name. I just remember the what they used to call him. He used to have like this little awkward style, and he used to be dancing and moving a little bit, and he would be like pausing. He was very exciting to watch, but his style, yeah, the judges didn't like it. But he was a very talented guy that I think didn't get the recognition. He had a lot of losses, but didn't really get stopped a whole lot either. Nav needs to give Robson a rematch. 135. Nav is food for everyone. His style and size advantage out the window. Yeah, bro. Me and you talked about this one a couple months back when that fight was going, man. Like, you never know what you're going to get for Navarrete. He's a guy, man, where it's like, like he can look amazing in one fight and look like trash in the next fight. And you're like, and you like, what happened? What happened? Look great in one fight, great against Oscar Valdez, great. And then he you're like, is that the same cat? So, yeah. TJ, you and I had this conversation, bro. So we're on the same page, bro. We're on the same page. I can understand why they didn't give him the Navarrete fight after his last performance, because they might not want to risk wasting a fight as big as this. Maybe Shakur get the winner. Yeah, man. That last performance did hurt Shakur, but what can you do, man? Just chalk it up for what it is, and hopefully he does get something moving forward, man, because you would hate to see him just stop like that. So hope to see you back in the ring, Shakur, man. Hope to see you back in the ring, brother. Man, Bipolar Boxing Picks. What's going on, man? Just got my tickets for Ford. Coming left, surprise 4-2 and underdog. Why do you think that? I think a lot of people think Ford shouldn't have too many problems with this one, depending on who you're talking to. So this is an interesting fight, man. Remind me again when this fight is. Man. Maybe Shakur needs to get in a fight after his injury and show haters that it's just a bad night. I agree, man. We just want to see him back in that thing, brother. Just want to see him back in that ring, man. Man, Pablo B, I don't like Vaquero's awkward style. Rather prefer boxers full in technique and skill. But, man, what a fighter he is. Months ago, we saw how Liam Wilson almost knocked him out, how wrong we were. Yeah, he's just one of those cats, man. again, like you just never know what you're gonna get. And I think a lot of it too is if he's up and excited for the fight. I thought he was very excited to fight Oscar Valdez. And maybe he didn't know too much about Liam Wilson, which is why we saw that type of performance where it was a little lackadaisical, but then he can turn it up. But one thing about Nav, man, he's got that fighting spirit about him, man. And the awkward style and angles kind of works to his favor. So it's like hard to really plan for the cat because one, you know who's going to show up. But then once he gets in his groove, man, with his length and his reach and the power that he has, he's interesting to fight. Floyd took less to fight Gotti. Haney took 20% to fight Kambosos because they knew it would pay off in the back end. 100%. Shakur should have taken that Haney fight. Yeah. But, in sports, man, sometimes like, you get to a certain level and cats just want to get paid for their worth, right? They want to say, man, if you want me to come down there or go here, like you got to pay me. I would have favored Shakur Stevenson to beat Devin Haney prior to this last fight, but I think Devin Haney's getting better. And based on that last performance, I think a healthy Shakur, a more confident Shakur beats Eden De Los Santos in a much more exciting fight. But, now there's that speculation of like at this stage right now, who would win. But before that fight, I would favor Devin Haney. 20% crazy. I don't know if that was legit numbers that between him and Haney, but I'm someone that if it was me, I would have took it and just bet on myself. But that's me. Social media, a bunch of morons who are keyboard warriors probably have said lives in their bedrooms, honestly, sad lives. I was social media gets deleted. I'll be celebrating seeing people cry about fake followers. Yeah, it's a cold world out here, man. It's a cold world out here. And, it's always interesting. Like I'm someone, man, where if I got something to say, I'm going to say it to your face, but wherever I say it. And a lot of this back and forth stuff, even in the boxing community and guys saying they're going to fight hit and fight here, man, until the contract is signed, bro, I don't believe any fight is going to happen until we see it. But social media, man, you know how it is. This is the world that we live in, and we just getting started with it too. Manny Burton. Was that the fighter? That's it. Emmanuel Augustus. That is the name. That man, he's just fun to watch, man. I really like him. Burton versus Mickey Ward was a classic. Man, Mickey Ward been in some great fights. Man. Shakur has many paychecks to cash before retiring. Keep calm, 100%. Hopefully his camp is getting the right people around him, man, where they say, yo, what are you doing? I know he has a lot of respect and admiration for his grandfather, so I'm hoping his grandfather is like, yo, let's just tone down the emotion a little bit. Let's take some break. It'll come back. No, I like when Shakur goes right up to the guy after the fight and tell them they didn't win, not that keyboard warrior stuff. Man, I really think Shakur wants to fight. Like, I don't think this is it for him by no means, man. So we just want to see it. Jake Paul fighting again. I saw that. I have no idea who that man is. No disrespect to him. But, Jake Paul is very strategic in who he is picking. And he's carved himself a little niche fighting these casts, bro. And, he puts himself on the Amanda Serrano card, and he's putting on the card. So Jake Paul is really winning in a lot of ways, man. We talk real boxers, none of this influencer misfit nonsense. Jake Paul. Fair enough. March 2nd. All right, man. I'm gonna definitely do a breakdown for that one, man. That's an interesting fight. Raymond Ford is legit. Ford is the underdog. Dang, I wouldn't have thought that Ford would have been the underdog in that one, honestly. Ford made easy work of this, man. Did he ever? Ralph, Ford's the underdog. Huh. Raymond Ford is the underdog. Where so I can put a bag on Ford? Yeah, that's interesting to me. Like, do you guys think that Ford should be the underdog, or he is, or the other guy? That's interesting to me. I don't that's news to me. I thought for sure Ford would have been the underdog. Haney looks so good and sharp at 140. I actually think 135 probably handicapped Haney. Yeah, I think so too, man. I'll tell you what, bro, like, and we talked about this as well too. It's like, Man, I wasn't anticipating Devin Haney to get a knockdown against Prograis. That was not on my bingo card by no means. Not on my bingo card. But that's a very more explosive and sharper Devin Haney, man. Almost like that sniper in the shots, man. So I think 140 is good for him. You know, there's lots of good fights right now at 140. 140 is a great division, bro. I really like what's happening down there. All these fighters saying they're retiring, making it lose its meaning. 100%. Yeah, yeah. That's why I never really believe it until we don't see him. You know, Mike Tyson retired a couple times and came back. A bunch of guys retired a couple times and came back. So until we don't see you no more, and we see you hang up the gloves, put down the shoes, I'm expecting to see you sometime later in this year. So very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Any last thoughts on Shakur before we move forward? Any last thoughts on Shakur? It's not a matter of this, but I appreciate Jake Paul as a promoter. He has done a lot for women's boxing. You know, man, I'm not going to say I used to be a hater towards Jake Paul, but I didn't really care for him too much. But you get to see what he's been able to do and how he's been able to help some of these things. I mean, I think more times than not, he might be losing money putting on these events, right? But I like what he is doing for the sport, as you said, Pablo, for the women's, man, because they are deserving of it and they're making good. So I really like what he brought to it. But as far as him fighting, and the crazy thing, he is getting better, you know, like he's taking the craft seriously. And so if someone is taking the craft seriously, I got to give him the respect. I still don't know who he's fighting next. No disrespect to that cat, but Jake Paul is very smart and strategic with how he's picking his fighters. But he has done a lot for women's boxing, and I think he brings some good stuff to the sport. And he's probably going to retire a couple more times. I don't think he has much fights left in him. But if he beats Usyk, he's probably going to retire. Then he might come back and fight Joshua just for the heck of it. Credit Jake Paul for that, but still, I hear you, man. I hear you, my brother. I hear you. Raymond for that. Plus 130. Plus 130. That's a nice little bag right there if he gets it done, man. All right, let's move forward. So one of the things that we talked about last week was the pound for pound list. A lot of you gave your thoughts on different one. I said, man, I actually haven't put together a pound for pound list in quite some time. And some of my picks are a little interchangeable depending on what it is. But how I did mine, I based it on kind of these three things right here. I based it on who they fought. I based it on activity. And I based it on how they performed in their fight. So let's go on it. And if you got your pound for pound list, definitely put it down in the comments. Tear mine up if you don't like it. Let me know. Who would you change out? Let's go over it real quick. So for me, I got Naoya Inoue first because, 1A, and him and Bud could have went back and forth, however you go about it. Inoue moved up twice, moved up division, and fought two of the champions, took their belts. And so that was a big part of it for me, because he moved up a division and didn't take any tune-up fights. He didn't say, I got to get moving in the division. He said, nah, I'm going to go fight the champion. I'm going to be Fulton, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to take his belt over here. So that's why he's my number one, because of how he performed in both of those fights and how he just went and took the belt. To beat a champion, you got to beat the champion. This man came up, took the belt from both of these champions. So he's one for me. Two, Terrence Bud Crawford. The reason for that, why I didn't have Bud first, is because, he only fought once for me. He fought Errol Spence, pound for pound fighter. That's a big part of it as well, too. But activity for me, man, makes a difference, because I want to see you inside of the ring. I want to see you in the ring. So 3, Usyk, because of, man, what he did to AJ, what he did to Dubois, but also how he performs in those fights. Like, he never really gets sucked into fighting anybody's fight. He just goes in, fights his fight. He's not going to be the bigger guy in the fight. He's not generally going to be the bigger puncher in the fight, but that doesn't deter him. Like, he doesn't get discouraged in that. He comes in and he knows how to perform in the moment. And for that, I slide him in at 3. I got Canelo at 4. A lot of people have their ways about Canelo, but I got a lot of respect for Canelo inside of the ring because of what he's been able to do, man. You know, he and the activity of Canelo. Like, he may not fight the guys that we want him to fight, but one thing about Canelo is he gonna stay active. You know, he gonna fight somebody. He gonna fight somebody. So I got Canelo at 4. I got Haney at 5. What he did to Lomachenko, obviously, that's a fight where a lot of people thought that he lost that fight. Depending on what you see, you can debate that. We can debate that all day, every day. But then he goes up and he faces Regis Prograis, and how he beat the heck out of Prograis. And many of you saw the breakdown. I picked Regis to win the fight. And so, not that I didn't think that Haney couldn't win the fight, by no means, but I just felt like Prograis, Haney always makes a little bit of mistakes in the fight, and he's able to get clipped. But this fight, I couldn't really find anything wrong with that performance. It was just magnificent across the board, right? So for me, Haney at 5, he's done a whole lot right now in his career. So for me, Teofimo Lopez, man, what he did against Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was the boogeyman, so to speak, in the division. Not a lot of cats wanted to fight that guy, right? And how he picked apart Josh Taylor, made it look like it was easy work, almost stopped him, because we saw the doubts in his last fight against was it Sandor Martin, and how he looked. You're like, oh man, Teofimo looks a little bit washed. We don't know how he's gonna be. But that performance was amazing. That performance was amazing. So I slide him up to 6. Better BF, man. You know what I mean? You know, he might have been a little bit higher on my list if he was a little bit more active, right? We know what we're gonna get with him, man. The man just knocks cats out, bro. That's just what he does. What he does. Bivol, got Bivol at 8. I would have, again, activity for me. I would love to have seen Bivol just fight a little bit more. And I honestly wasn't too impressed with his last fight against Lyndon Arthur, man, because I felt like he should have got the stoppage. I felt like he had opportunities to close out the show. He dominated the fight. I think Bivol is a complete fighter. But for me, man, I was just like, come on, bro. Like, I want to see you, you know, take it over the hump a little bit. So he slid in at that for me. At 9, Benavidez. I kind of had I ran out of space because I had another. No, I got Benavidez at 9. Benavidez at 9. What he did last year, man. I like his activity. I like he's getting better. I like the confidence, and I like what he's been able to do under the pressure situation. Right, Caleb Plant. He put a beating on Caleb Plant. What he did to Andre. I still don't think he gets the credit that I think he fully deserves. But that's also interchangeable as well too for me. And I got Bam and I got Tank at 10, but I didn't switch it out. Bam, his performance against Sonny, man, was great. What he did to another champion in that division, and Sonny fought a very good fight. But it just goes to show, man, when Bam is excited for something and the excitement is there and he's up for the fight, you can see that he has a way of being able to separate from fighters in the division because of the power that he does possess, right? If you can't have something to back somebody up, they're just going to come forward each and every single time. So that's the list for me. I had Tank. I could slide Tank in there as well, too, at 9 or 10 because I like Tank, man. I think Tank is a lot better than people think. He can, obviously, we know him to be a puncher, but the man can box as well, too, and he's very smart as well, too. So that's my list. It's probably going to change. When Bivol fights Arthur Beterbiev, one's going to move up, one's going to move down, but that's what I got. That's what I got. Let's see what you guys are saying in here. The man Chris Wells says, Inoue, Crawford, Usyk, Haney, Benavidez, Bam, Lopez, Beterbiev, Canelo 10, Canelo 9, 10, Bivol. Okay. Give me a little bit why do you have Canelo? Why do you have Benavidez ahead of Canelo? What are your thoughts there? Give me a little bit more insight on that one, my brother. My man TJ says, love the list. I personally would switch Benavidez for Tank. Tank multiple weight class. And yeah, I could interchange 9 and 10. I'm gonna keep Bam in there. I like that performance. But didn't have enough room to slide Tank in there because I think Tank is the full package. Teo beat him bad. Josh almost didn't survive. Yeah, man. Hey, if Teo would have closed out that show, that would have been very interesting. But he might against Jermaine Ortiz. Josh Taylor needs to. Yeah, I agree, man. I don't think he should be fighting anywhere. I heard something about him and Jack Catterall. Is that at 140 or 147? Like, is that actually going to happen? Yeah, he needs to move up, man. I don't want to see him at 140. I think he's food for a lot of those champions right now, honestly. Good list. I think beating Andrade is a good win despite his age. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Still a little confused. I thought Josh Taylor was undisputed at 140, wasn't it? Yeah, he was. He was because he vacated the belts, if I remember correctly. He vacated those belts. I think because he was trying to, I don't want to say avoid Jack Catterall, but I thought he had something to do with it. Yeah, there we go. Appreciate you, TJ. Appreciate you. All right, my man Pablo B says, in the way Crawford, Usyk better be Haney, Bivol, Benavidez, Bam, Gervonta, Teo. Ooh, I mean, Pablo, no Canelo on the list? No Canelo on the list? How do you guys feel about, this wasn't part of it, how do you guys feel about heavyweights on the pound for pound list? How do you guys feel about that? I know there's always some stuff there. Couldn't fulfill mandatory. Yeah, TJ talking about Josh Taylor here. There is no chance Canelo is in my pound for pound list if he ducks the best opposition at 168. I feel you, man. I feel you. There's some good opposition though at 168, man. That best is pretty up there, man. Pablo Sard list. I feel you with Canelo. Benavidez resume from 2023 compared to Canelo. Yeah, I understand. I understand what you got there, man. Benavidez had a great year, bro, and I really like how he performed, man. I know he's not active, but I'll replace Estrada for Benavidez. Interesting fight. Is he fighting soon? I thought I heard his name in BAM somewhere, or was I just seeing, fake news? Like, remind me about that, man. It's a good. Oh, JP, appreciate that $5, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thinking of parlaying Bawasi Ford. Anyone else you think I should add for a massive payday? Man, so here's the thing, bro. And the chat always knows, you guys, I'm not a betting man like that. So when it comes to parlays and stuff, I'm not really the guy to ask on that. TJ is in here. TJ, that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. So he may know a better parlay option than I would. I just go with the fighters, bro. I just go with the fighters, man. I know I don't know if it's too late or not, but I know Angelo Leo fighting tomorrow against Mike Plania. I like Angelo Leo by that fight. I'm not saying that's going to, obviously we don't know how the fight's going to play out until it happens, but if you want to add a little bit of payday on that, man, I think that would be a good one, and at least you'd be able to get a win on the weekend coming up. So that's a fight that's happening tomorrow, if I remember correctly. So that could be a good one, bro. And man, TJ says, J-Man, Conor Ben, KO. Well, there you go. There you go, J-Man. There you go, bro. It's funny, man, because you guys are really the ones that tell me about who's the favorite and who's not the favorite. Like, I literally don't know because I don't look. Like, I don't really pay attention to that too much. But I tell you what, man, once betting becomes legal here in Charlotte and the paperwork from Canada to America finalizes, I might have to dabble a couple dollars, man. But there you go, man. J-Man, TJ got you covered, bro. Looking forward, I think Jaya Pataya, Morel, Serena Matthias are going to be in my, Tell you what, man, Apataya, man, I'm looking forward to seeing that rematch with Breedis, man. It's gonna be a good fight. Matthias is machine. Taylor got humbled by Catterall in the first fight. Taylor knows it, but the rematch can see Taylor been up for more depending on what weight. I don't know if he really took Catterall seriously, man. It maybe just looked like it was some type of, I don't know. It was just very sloppy fight. He was smothering his work a little bit, didn't look physical. Yeah, it was just not, didn't like it. Angela Leo, yes, moneyline Khalil Cole. See, he knows, man. He knows. Toss Luis Alberto Lopez in there for some juice. I do heavy favorite parlays all day, 15. Appreciate y'all, man. You guys know more about it. We're going to talk about it. I'd probably go money line all day, every day, but that might not be the best. That might not be the best to make some money. So when I start parlaying some bets myself, man, I'm going to come to you guys, and you guys got to hold me down. So I'm going to keep that one up just in case you want to see it, man. Just in case you want to see it. Love. Hope the luck keeps rolling. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. Your easy bet winning would be whoever cereal porridge brain Derek Chisora fights put. Man. He got a nice little win there against Kubrat Pulev to really, keep him in the mix. Man, TJ says, love up a time, Morella Matthias. Good shouts, Pablo. Those are real boxing fans, surprise. 100%, man. Matthias is a machine, bro. Matthias is a machine. The Wise, what's going on, man? Good to see you, man. I was waiting for you to get in here, man. I know you're happy about the squad right now. You guys are in the Super Bowl, man. It's going to be a good fight, man. Much love, my brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I love Adam Azim. He is one of my favorites, British prospects with Dalton Smith, Pat McCormick. There are so many British talents. 100%, man. 100%. He from Charlotte. My good friend from NY owns a bar down there called the Brickyard. Hit up sometime. The Brickyard. Man, let me write that one down, man. Write that one down. Cause me and the missus, man, we got a date weekend coming up. We might have to check that out. Appreciate you sharing that, man. I live in Charlotte now. When my wife and I got married, we moved to Charlotte. But originally I'm from Canada, man. I'm Jamaican born, grew up in Canada, went to school in America, all that good stuff. But Charlotte is where I'm at currently, man. Hey, where are you guys at, man? I know a bunch of you. I know TJ out east. I know Chris over in the UK. I know my man Pablo B over in Chile. Where are you guys at, man? Because I got some stuff that I want to do moving forward, and the channel grows a little bit more that I'd love for you guys to be a part of. Dalton in a tricky fight with Jose Zapata. Oh, I like Zapata. Chisora Pulev was a battle of man. Pulev fought in like a underground, very low key fight just to get that winning record back up, man. So I feel you, bro. Like I feel you on that. Man, lights out. Got a list. Okay, let's see what we got here. We got Canelo 1, Munguia 2, Benavidez 3, Bam 4, Pitbull 6, Navarrete, Lopez, Ortiz, Pacheco, 10, Andy Cruz in the mix. Man, you out here making fun, bro. You out here making fun, bro. There's so many British talents, then us British overrate them, and it ends in tears. Man, yeah, bro. The British fighters been taking some beatings, bro. They've been taking some beatings. My cousin used to live in Charlotte. He loved that place. Brickyard. No, man, I'm gonna check this one out, bro. I appreciate you sharing that, man. I'm gonna check that one out. Brickyard. I know my brother Francisco out in Tucson, Arizona, man. My old training stomping grounds when I used to run track. Chicago, Chi-Town in the house. From upstate New York, 10 minutes from the Boxing Hall of Fame, man. Hey, it's cold out there in New York right now. It's cold. From Carlisle, England, which is literally outside of Scotland. Man, I hear a lot of good things about Scotland, man. Gotta go over there one time. I think, matter of fact, I think TJ went over there for a fight, or was it Ireland? TJ, let me know. I know you went over there, man. From San Francisco, and I was 14 when the Niners won the first Super Bowl, and we're look good right now, man. They have all the makings to do it, man. But that other team over there, man, Patrick Mahomes, he's up there, man. He's up there. He's up there. He's up there. It's gonna be good, man. I really like the chances. Just really hope it's a great game. I hope it's not a blowout for nobody. I just hope it's a good game. I'm expecting it to be. He just has freezing in there. Hey, man, as long as you got the puffer jacket and some Timbs, man, you can stay warm. You can stay warm, man. Iowa. Iowa. I got one of my first recruits when I was visiting schools was the University of Iowa, and I actually liked it out there. But I was trying to get away from the cold, being from Canada, man. I was not trying to see no winter, man. But I like it out there in Iowa. Oh yeah, bro. Pound for pound list. It's just hard to put together, so I just put it. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna put it up again. So we're talking about Mexican edition. I put it up again. Okay, now that you put it this way, it makes a lot more sense. Andy Cruz is Cuban though, isn't he? Andy Cruz Cuban though, isn't he? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Been a mild winter, but still snow on the ground, mid 20s. We can handle mild winters, man, as long as it's not crazy, bro. And that's the thing I like about Charlotte. It hasn't been too crazy. Andy Cruz, Andy Cruz, Andy Cruz, Andy Cruz, Andy Cruz. But yeah, man, that's the pound for pound list, man. That's the pound for pound list. Yeah, we're gonna reshuffle this list when we see better Biev and Bivol fight. We'll come back and see Usyk and Tyson Fury will come back, and we'll see what anything changes, man. So let's keep it pushing. We're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done. Coming down to the last little bit here, the cool down segment. If it's your first time tuning in, cool down segment is my take on when we were running track and field, man. After the race, you cool down, right? You're talking about the race, talking with your coaching, and really just getting ready to head back to the hotel, head back to the room. So this is a segment where we talk about anything, man. Stories, Q&A, questions. I still got some questions I didn't answer from last week that I have written down here, and any other topics, man. So we had a bunch of different things that we talked about throughout the time in the lives. We talked about a whole bunch of different stories, man. So any question that you guys have, bring it in. Yeah, he's Cuban. Some of the questions that I have from last week that I didn't get to write down. Some boxing, some track. This one says, just want to make sure I read it correctly. This one says, Akeem, what do you think if Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk? Do you think Tyson Fury retires? I wouldn't put it past him. Tyson Fury wins. I mean, he's probably gonna walk out on the sunset. I mean, what more does he need to do? And brother Chris said this as well too. He might come back and face Joshua just for the heck of it, just for the payday, because it's a massive fight in the UK. But if Fury wins, I think he might retire. And I think if Usyk wins, he might retire as well too, because what else does he have to prove? So that's what I think about that. Other one says, ooh, okay, we're getting deep and personal. That's okay. I like it. Says Akeem, appreciate what you're doing, man. Have a lot of respect for what you're doing. I have a quick question about my son picking a school. He's thinking about playing tennis. What do you think about schools, and how do you think we should go about it? Just asking. I don't have much experience with it. Just want to get your thoughts. Well, appreciate you asking that, man. When picking a school, man, I think a lot of times young athletes, I don't know how old your son is. I'm assuming if he's picking a school, he's probably 17, 18 years old, going that collegiate wise next. And if seems to be, from what you're saying, tennis, so maybe there's a scholarship there, maybe 50%, maybe full percent. I don't know. If you're in the chat, let me know. But I'm not going to say your name. I want to keep that personal, keep your information there. So for me, man, I think I went to the University of Alabama, and how I picked my school, it wasn't so much about the name of the school per se. It was more about what the coach, I felt like how we were connecting, what his program was like. So if if your son is playing tennis, he's a tennis player, you have to do your due diligence in thinking about, well, this coach, how has other athletes performed under this coach? Have they been doing well? Have they been going back and forth? Have they been having success? Has they been having one star athlete and has the rest been falling off? Because you want to watch the history of the program and not just get so caught up in the name of the program, because the NCAA system is it is tough. It is tough. It is grueling. Coaches don't really have much loyalty, because you may go in thinking that this person is going to be your coach, and then they may leave, right? So it's really, you have to do your due diligence. Don't get so caught up in the big name of the school. Look at the entirety of the school and find out how am I going to be the most successful here? How can I further my athletic career here? Don't get caught up in the big school too much, man. It has to make sense. It's a cookie cutter system. A lot of schools get caught up. A lot of athletes get caught up in the big name, go to the big name school, and they don't perform well. So, man, just really do your full due diligence of it and make sure you're looking at the history of the athletes that have performed under that coach, so you have an understanding of what that looks like. Let me get one more here in the DM, and then we will go over to the chat. Okay. Ooh, okay. My man says, Akeem, appreciate it, bro. Every time I watch your video, you're always upbeat, always encouraging. I know that you're a speaker as well too, but whenever you come on the channel, you bring a lot of energy and you share life lessons in the video. How do you stay motivated and stay encouraged? Because I'm having a hard time staying motivated and encouraged right now. You've created a safe space here on the chat, and I just wanted to slide that in there privately. I'm watching, but I just wanted to DM you here. Oh man, appreciate that, man. Like I'm glad that you have found that this is a safe space. You know, this is what it is, man. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things, and I'm not someone who's ever going to sugarcoat stuff or give you an answer that's not going to make sense. Man, you know, when it comes to being motivated, bro, like, to be honest, like, I'm not always motivated, and I don't think all of us are. If you meet someone who says they're motivated every single day, yo, what's the formula? Because there's 365 days out the year, and you're not always going to be the best version of yourself every single day, bro. So for me, man, I just try to have more good days than challenging days, right? So I don't get too high, I don't get too low. I try and stay even keel here. And when it comes to motivation and inspiration, man, if you don't have it around you, you have to make it around you. And what I mean by that is, man, there was a time in college. It was a very tough time, man. I was battling a hamstring injury, so I wasn't healthy. And when you're on school for an athletic scholarship, you're not able to compete, you're injured. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? And it can drain you. And at that time too, I lost a couple close friends that were close to me from back home, and I couldn't go to the funeral, couldn't go back home. And so there was a whole bunch of things that was happening, and I really felt really low. And so what I did was I created an environment around me. Here's what I mean. I started listening to, encouraging videos, right? I started going for walks. I started doing things that was going to put me in an upbeat mood, right? My faith, I don't know if you're a person of faith or any of you guys, but man, the scripture has helped me so much. My faith in God, my faith in knowing that hard times don't last forever. And every time that I'm facing a hard situation, I look back at my past, because the past hasn't always been good, but you found the strength to make it through. You found the way how to get through it. Seasons always change, and so can your situation, man. So just do your best to create that environment, man. Whatever you need, whether it's a video, whatever the case is, or encouraging, find that encouragement and you can create it around you. And you got to choose that every single day. You got to choose positivity, because if you don't choose positivity, the negative thoughts win by default, So every single day, man, just do your best to choose positivity, choose something, choose to listen to a positive message instead of music today, choose to listen to a positive podcast instead of something that is not going to bring that same positive energy and spirit. Man, we can talk a little bit away from here as well too, or we can get into some practical things as well too, but appreciate you asking that, man. I hope that helped. All right, let's go to the chat. Who is the best Jamaican fighter ever, and who is your favorite? Mike McCollum, Nicholas Walters, Simone Bro, Glenn Johnson. I like the body snatcher, McCallum, even though he KO'd my guy, Julian Jackson. I like Nicholas Walters, man. But you know what? Also, man, Lennox Lewis as well, too. He's Jamaican born. Moved to UK, fought, got Canadian citizenship as well too, but Lennox Jamaican born, man. So I gotta throw him in there. But I like Walters, man. He was doing so well until he wasn't. Oh man, that man could punch. Julian Jackson, a beast too. He a beast too. Man, that's a good name, bro. That's what I'm talking about, brother Francisco. That's what I'm talking about. Fury, Joshua happens regardless. Fury wins or not. Saudi spent that money, man, and they have invested a lot of money, so they got to make that back. Usyk definitely retires when he beats Fury to become undisputed heavyweight champion, following Lennox Lewis' footsteps. Shout out to Lennox Lewis, man. Man, Brother Pablo says, Akeem, how difficult is it to handle life as a pro athlete with marriage, meaning time at the gym, special diets, traveling? Man. I retired from sport 2017, so I don't even train anymore. And I got married 2022, so the dynamics have been a little bit different. My wife retired from sport 2 years now. My wife is a way more decorated athlete than me by far, big time, by far. But marriage, man, it is one of those things where you got to be intentional about it, man. Like you can't be a selfish person going into it, right? Because two become one, and two are moving in the same direction. And if you get married and you're trying to just do things on your own and still live the single lifestyle, single thought process, it's just not going to work, man. So in every work-life balance, there's going to be times when you have to make certain decisions, and one's going to have the other. So I value my wife. I appreciate her, got respect for her, obviously got love for her, man. So I just do my best to make sure that work and stuff isn't consuming. And when I retired from track in 17, and she was still going, so we were both in it together. But when I retired, since I understood how track worked, the sacrifices of it, the traveling, the diet, all the stuff you just mentioned, I had to go away from being an athlete trying to reach my own goals and turn into that supportive role, and to just support, to just be there, and to just kind of put her first in that sense, man. So I didn't have to juggle it when I was in the sport because we weren't married yet, but coming out of it, it always has its challenges, man. Marriage is work, but it's good work, but you got to be intentional about that work. I appreciate you asking that, man. McCallum has to be the best. Boxing Math says he lost Roy and Roy lost to Johnson. That's why boxing math, man, that's a whole nother equation, boxing math, right? Lennox Lewis is Jamaican as well too. Yes, sir. We got that one on lock. Let's just pray that Alexander doesn't die in the ring. Woo! Okay, we got a Fury. We got Fury over here. Fury AJ should be happening in UK too. I don't want it elsewhere because that would be travesty. Man, 1000%. If it's anywhere, it has to be the UK. It wouldn't be the same feel. Yeah, the Saudis got the money, absolutely. But for everything that encompasses and where they are, man, I completely agree. It has to be there by like default, right? Doesn't it? Roll Tide, man. Live in Huntsville for 9 years. Shout out to Alabama. Hey, shout out to the Crimson Tide, man. Shout out to the alma mater. Shout out to the alma mater, man. Saban retired, so we're gonna see how them boys are. We're gonna see how them boys are, and let go of the people that drain you, man. That's a word and a message right there for someone right there, my brother. How you have the Duna versus Morgan fight tomorrow? Man, I got to do some more research on this one and get back to you on this, bro. I got to do some more research. I don't want to give you a nonsense answer. Got to do some research after and renew my mind how they looked in their previous fights, man. It's a good fight card tomorrow, honestly. It's a good fight tomorrow. Bob Arum ruined Nicholas Walters' career just like he did Rigo Rigondeaux. Yeah. Ah, who is your top boxing prospect? Man, I really like Abdullah Mason, man. I really like Abdullah Mason. I think there's a couple guys that are leaving the prospect title, like Morataya. He's been tutored in that prospect aspect. I think he's stepping into that contender, man. But I really like Abdullah Mason, man. I really like what he's been doing. What about you guys, real quick? I ran track and field. I ran track and field. I ran track and field was my sport when I was running, man. Ooh, should women fights be 2 minutes, 3 minutes? I know a lot of people want the 3 minutes fight, especially certain women. I know Amanda Serrano wants it, but I haven't really heard too many other women talking about them wanting the 3 minutes round. So personally, man, I would like to keep it at 2 minutes, and I would go from 10 rounds to 12. And I would rather see that, because with the increased rounds, I think it still gives them the opportunity for things still to be very exciting and for them to have more time to possibly get a stoppage. But until I see more women saying that they want the 3 minute rounds, I've really only heard like Serrano and maybe some other person. So they may not all want it the same, but I like 2 rounds. Give me 2 minutes and then give me 12 rounds. Give me 12 rounds. What do you think? What do you guys think about that one? Must be in Wembley. Where did remind me where Fury and Dillian White fought? Was that outdoors? That was outdoors where they fought? And that's sat a whole bunch of people. Remind me about that one again. Hrgovic is next in line for the title. We're talking about heavyweight. Yeah, Hrgovic. Yeah, man. Hrgovic, we'll see. We'll see. Egos, money, and greed ruined Fury, AJ from happening in the past. Now there's no excuses with Hearn and Warren, best mates. Well, the money brought them together. Let's be real. Yeah, the money definitely did. Them Saudis out here throwing money left, right, and center. You get you get a couple mil. You get a couple mil. You get a couple mil. Yeah. I think 2 minutes fly by quickly. Makes it difficult to score. Yeah, 100%. Fury White, yeah. And wasn't that what, like 80,000, 90,000 people? Like that was a massive fight, man. That was a massive fight. Took too long for them to walk down to the actual ring, but that was a massive fight. A lot of people show up. People are going to show up for AJ, man. They're going to show up for AJ and Tyson Fury. If they showed up for Fury and Dillian White, definitely going to show up for that fight, man. So, again, think it has to happen in the UK, but if it happens in Saudi, can't be surprised by either. As you said, man, money talks. I like Shushu. I like Shushu a lot too, man. I think he had a big year. I think he's going to have a bigger year this year as well too. J-Man says 3 minute, 10 rounds is a good start. Yeah, I like that as well too. I just haven't seen too many women wanting that. So it just makes it interesting to see how they really think. 3 minute, 10 rounds. Shushu was a great fighter, very talented, man. Really impressed by his last fight. Fury Joshua Wembley will be the biggest QK record sellout. Man, I think if anybody says otherwise, they wouldn't be being honest with themselves. 100%, 100%. That would be a great fight. Hopefully, we get to see it. Hopefully, we get to see it. Hopefully, we get to see it. Who was a good matchup for Boots, or should he move up to better competition? You know, this was talking with somebody in the comments, and they were talking about Boots. It might have been you, J Man, actually, where you said somebody said Mean Machine would have been a good test. Obviously, Mean Machine is not the same guy that fought Bud, but I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Um, Virgil Ortiz put a beating on him, so maybe that's not as good as a fight as it would have been. Um, that's a good question, man. I got to think about that one. I got to think about that one. But definitely got to see Boots a lot more inside the ring. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Boots does. I know he wants Bud, but he's not going to get that fight. So let's move on from that. I actually wouldn't even mind seeing. Um, I think Stanionis would be a good fight, or even if Josh Taylor wants to go up and take that fight, I wouldn't be mad at that either. I wouldn't be mad at that either. Let's see. When's the last time? When's the last time Stanionis been inside the ring? Now that I think about it, so maybe that wouldn't be as good of a matchup. But then we haven't seen Boots in the ring in in a while, so maybe that is a good matchup because they haven't really been too active. 2-minute rounds, two rounds. Men give women's boxing so many action. I like 12 rounds, 2 minutes. Yeah, that's my thoughts as well too. What's this? Heavyweight top 10. Hergy, Zhang, Sanchez, Fury, Ruiz, Usyk, Dubois, AJ, Parker, Francis Ngannou. Boots Stanionis, Boots avoiding Conor Ben, avoiding Boots Crowley. Man, I love you. Oh, appreciate you, bro. Man, good to see you as always, man. I always appreciate you tuning in, man. I didn't even see the time. We've been on here for an hour and 36 minutes. So, man, let's keep this going. Let's close it out, man. You know how we finish up with everything, man. We close out with the quote of the week. I appreciate each of you for taking the time to rock with me again this week. Oh, man. Let's read this last one real quick. Lights out. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Have a good rest of your night. Boots chilling out in the paradise summer with the martini on the beach. Yeah, he's not too worried about right now. He enjoying the fruits of his labor. Man. All right, let's finish up, man. You know how we finish up, man. You know I believe in positivity, believe in encouragement. If you've been watching me on other social platforms, speaking is what I'm about. It's what I do, man. Quote of the week. This is a good one right here. You can't live your life for other people. You've got to do what's best for you, even if it hurts some people you love. Read that one again, man. You can't live your life for other people. You've got to do what's right for you, even if it hurts some people you love. One of the things that I always want to ask, and I had a conversation with who was it? Jeff Mayweather last year. I had him on the podcast and we were talking, and I said, Jeff, man, I asked him 2 questions, man. I said, what was it in Floyd Mayweather's camp like? Right? Like, what was going through the dynamics in everybody's head there? Like, who was head trainer? Like, how did you guys combat that? Because all of you at different points were coaching Floyd Mayweather. And I asked him about that because I think it's a hard dynamic when it comes to family in boxing, since we're talking about boxing, right? When fathers or uncles coach their son or their nephew or women, whatever the case may be, it's very tough because they may want one thing for you and they may be saying you need to do it this way, but that may not be the way, and you may have outgrown certain styles. So how do you have that conversation and say, you know what, we've had a great run, we've had a great time, and this is not going to work anymore? one of the things that Jeff told me, and maybe things has changed since then, was the relationship between Floyd and his father. They were great a lot of the times when they were together, a lot of success together, but away from the ring, after his career was done, they didn't have as strong as a relationship as they did, right? And then you hear Floyd talk about other things as well too, and he was just like, man, I didn't always want to fight the way how they wanted me to fight. I needed to do some things that was going to be best for me, which is why he left his dad the first time and went to his uncle. So it is hard sometimes it's a tough battle to fight that battle of saying, man, I got to do what's best for me, but I don't want to hurt the people that I love the most. But the reality is, man, is we can't live our life for anybody other than ourselves. We have to take every person in mind, the people we love, the people we're closest to, people we consider friends. We have to keep them in mind, and we can use them to help make decisions. But there are some decisions that you have to make and get to it on your own. In life, any decision that we make, man, we have to live with it, whether it turns out great or whether it doesn't. But we cannot let the fear of what could go wrong or what could not work in our favor because of what others may think stop us from making the best decision that serves us in that moment. So while it's hard, while it's tough, while we may not want to step on any people's toes, especially the people that we love, we could probably have all of us in the chat right now on a circle and think about a bunch of different times when we were wrestling with making a decision. But when you feel like it's the right decision for you, when you kind of always know when it's the right decision and when something feels right, you have to go with that, because at the end of the day, every decision that you make, you have to live with it. You have to wake up with it. You got to look in yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I made that decision because it was the best decision for me at that time with the knowledge that I accumulated. So this is what this quote makes me think of. You know, you can't live your life for other people. You've got to do what's right for you, even if it hurts some people you love. And it's tough. But at the end of the day, man, every single day when you're looking yourself in the mirror, you have to say, did I live my life the way God wanted me to, based on the information he gave me, based on my experiences? Or did I make this decision in my life because that's what they wanted me to? You have to take people you love when you ask them for advice, you get their thoughts. You got to take that with your thoughts, but you have to come to the decision of yourself, in your mind, in your right space, because we don't want to live life in regrets. We don't want to get to a point where we say, man, I didn't make that decision because of outside external things. We got to come to it ourselves, as tough as it may be. So that's the quote of the week. That's what it made me think of, man. And again, this is a quote that I'm going to meditate on throughout the week. It's a good reminder, I know, for me personally. So that's the quote of the week, man. We got a couple more comments here before we close out. Giovanni Salah. Oh, that's a good fight as well, too. We weren't not a lot of people were expecting him to put on a beating like he did against Lexus Rocha, man. That's a good say. Appreciate you tuning in, man. I appreciate you, man. Much love as always, man. Appreciate you, man. Man, Pablo, be the Scotia should be in father's mind all the time, especially when they encourage their sons to get into a sport they love. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Appreciate you, man. Gracious as always, bro. Got to bounce, got some sleep, 2 a.m. Yeah, don't want to miss you. I appreciate you, man. I really do. I really do, man. I know it's late over there. Man, I hope you have a magnificent sleep. Like that sleep that you drew on the pillow a little bit, you know, that sleep that you wake up and you feel a little bit confused, like that good sleep. I hope that you get that, man. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Jay, man, appreciate you again, man. Appreciate that $5 you sent as well, brother. Much love, my man. Appreciate you, bro. The brickyard. Me and wife, you're going to go at some point, and I'm going to get back to you with the review, man. Appreciate you sharing that. Everyone, man, much love. God bless each of you. Stay encouraged. Keep the faith. Keep the strength. Keep moving. Keep fighting. Appreciate each of you taking the time again, man. And we'll be back here 7:30 next week for the first show in February. Much love to each of you. God bless. Have a good rest of your night.